Welcome back, friends. In the lecture series of Core Java, in the last couple of videos, we were clearly discussing about different data types in that is available in Java programming language. We have thoroughly discussed about all the primitive types that is available in Java, and we have covered almost 8 primitive data types of Java, starting from byte, short, int to character and boolean, right? And all these are primitive type. So one thing we can conclude about primitive variables or primitive type variables are like these are not objects from class. Remember this point. These are only primitive types. They are never belong to any class, right? But there are possibilities so that we can convert this primitive into object and object into primitive if you require. For that, we need to go for a different class or differentiation where we'll talk about different concept like auto boxing, unboxing, wrapper classes and all. We'll discuss that particular concept in some videos. Before going into that video, the next important topic we should discuss here are literals. This is the very next topic we should talk about. We should talk about what? Literals, right? Okay. Now, literals, if you define the word literal, in the simplest of simple word we can define a literal is as a constant. But trust me, this is not all. To make you understand, I have just given a word constant. Suppose I am writing a statement, integer a equals to 30. This statement we have already discussed. And if I'll ask you, can you please tell me about the different lexemes here? Int is a lexeme and int is what? Int is basically belongs to a type called as data type. A is an identifier. And what about 30? 30 is a value. Now let us name the value. We can call it as a value, we can call it as a constant value, or we can call this one as a literal. So literal are the constant value that can be assigned to a variable. Remember this point, right? So now we can define literal in the simplest of simple format, that it is a value that can be assigned to any variable, or to more precise, what we can do, we can write a constant value that can be assigned to a variable, right? This is simplest of simple definition. If you want to go for a technical definition that is there, or that is provided by Oracle documentation for Java, you can say like this is a source code representation of fixed variables. So either you can define in the first way or you can define in the second way, whichever you like, both are fine, no problem at all, right? Now let us go deep into it and we'll see what are the different literals are there in Java programming language and which data type can contain which kind of literal, right? Should we go for? Okay, fine, thank you. We'll start with integer literals. As we know, in the series of integer data type, we have covered 4 data types. One is byte, second one is short, third one is int itself, and the fourth one is long. So we will discuss this 4 part first, then we'll move through different parts of the data type, right? How the literals are represented, what exactly called as integer literal, what exactly called as float literal, like that, right? Now, as we know, integer variables are there which can hold whole numbers. You will definitely agree with me, integer variables can hold whole numbers. Now, as we know, in normal number system, any number can be represented in 4 different number formats. First number format is decimal number format, second one is octal format, third one is hexadecimal format, and the fourth one is of course binary format, right? So we have four different number formats or number system exist here. We can also able to represent all these number formats using Java, right? For that we need to understand how they are represented. Now for decimal literal, if I want to represent a decimal literal, remember what we can do, we can use the digits from 0 to 9, the digits from 0 to 9, right? Like if I add like integer a is equal to 4 5 6 7, like that. Now this is what called as integer literal, and this literal basically represents a number system having base 10, or we are calling this one number system as decimal number system, right? So I think this is not a big deal. I think we all are acquainted with this. No problem at all. No problem at all. Now in the same case, suppose I am writing here int a is equal to 10. You will say, sir, this is a simple thing. 10 is a value or literal constant or integer constant which will assign to a variable called as a, right? This is absolutely fine. Now can you please tell me, if I am writing int, if I am writing int a is equal to 0 1 0, first of all, this is valid or invalid? This is completely valid. And if you apply your mathematics knowledge here, you will say, sir, putting a 0 at the left side doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. This is valid. No problem. No way. This is valid, right? If you put a 0 at the left side, 0 at the left side doesn't have any meaning. This will be same as 10. This is not the 0 1 0 or 0 0 1 0. All these are same, right? All these are producing a number 10. But make sure you are aware of this particular concept. Any number that is prefixed with a 0, if you represent this particular number in Java, this will be not treated as a decimal constant. This will be treated as a octal constant. Make sure you understand this point. Any number that is prefixed with a 0, if you are representing a whole number and that number you are representing with 0, definitely that will be an octal constant. So the first point for octal literal is should be prefixed with 0. That is the first one. Allowed digits are, this is simple. I think all of you know this. Allowed digits here only 0 to 7. Only 0 to 7. That means if I am writing integer a is equal to 0 1 0, definitely this is valid. Definitely this is valid. Let us understand how Java compiler treat this. Even if I am writing 0 1 0 and I am trying to print the same one as system.out.print within bracket a. Now the question is, what will be the value that will be printed? Whether it will be printed 0 1 0, whether it will be printed anything else, how it will print it. Now make sure you understand this point. Whatever the number, whatever the literal you are representing in your program, doesn't matter. Compiler immediately convert this number system into decimal before using it. I repeat, whenever you are using this particular variable, immediately the number will be converted from the specified literal to decimal literal. Means the number system having base 10. So if I convert 0 1 0 into decimal, this is octal, right? This is octal. If I convert this one into decimal, so what will be the value? 0 into 8 to the power 0, 1 into 8 to the power 1, or last one is 0, so it will be 1. So it will be 0 plus 8. So the answer will be 8. So definitely this particular problem will give me, or this particular situation, I'll find the value 8. Okay, we'll also see to that. Let us cross check. Let us write me a test code, test literal.java. Let me write this one. I'll go for class test followed by main. Let us writing integer a is equal to 10. integer a is equal to 10. So if I am writing this, you will immediately, sir, no problem at all. What it will do, it will print the value 10. It will definitely print the value 10. Let us compile the code. Test literal.java. Sorry. Test literal.java. And if I execute this program, definitely I am going to get 10. Now, at the same time, if I am writing a 0 here, as per the discussion, this one will be converted into decimal. The first one will represent octal literal, and when I am using it, it will be converted into decimal. See, the answer is 8. That means it is confirmed that this particular number definitely not a number with base 10. Rather, this is a number with base 8, octal number. So the conclusion is, any number, any whole number, if you are representing the whole number with a suffix 0 in Java, that will be treated as octal constant, right? Similarly, if I am writing integer a is equal to 0786, is it a valid number or invalid number? It's a valid number or invalid number? Think for 2 seconds and answer. Yes, you got it correct. This is completely invalid, because if I am representing an octal number, you will say, sir, 8 is not allowed. The allowed digits are from 0 to 7, and 8 is not in between 0 to 7. Now my question is, what will happen to compiler? Immediately compiler will say too large integer value. Let's see what happens. This will be 100% pakka. This will be a compiler error, 100%. Let us see what my compiler says. Suppose I am writing 0678, right? Immediately my compiler will come up with an integer number too large. So definitely, if I am writing this one, compiler error will be there, and the exact error will be integer number too large. Right? Okay. So anything, if you are writing beyond the rule, you are going to get this error. This is all about octal. Now I repeat, even if you are representing octal, hexadecimal or binary, whatever you represent, that will be automatically converted into decimal by your compiler only. Xavium doesn't convert all this. The conversion is done by your compiler. Make sure you understand this point. Make sure you know this point. This is very, very vital, right? Now, similarly, if I want to represent hexadecimal number, the format is that should be prefixed with 0x. Either 0 small x or 0 capital X, doesn't matter. Both are same. Now, the next second one. What are the permissible digits that we can use? Definitely, we can use digits from 0 to 9. And you know, hexadecimal number has some special characters from capital A to F. Capital A or small a stands for 10, 11, 12. I think you know all this, right? 0 to 9 is fine. 10 is represented by A or capital A, both are fine. 11 is represented by B or capital B. Similarly, I can go up to 15. 15 is F, either capital F or small f, doesn't matter. So all these things are allowed for hexadecimal number. The rules remain same as if in octal. If I am writing integer a is equal to 0x10. Now this is not a decimal number now. This is not a octal number now. You can say, sir, I have prefixed with 0. But don't forget, after 0, you have written one more character called as x. Once 0x is found, immediately this will be treated as a hexadecimal number. Make sure you understand this point. That means if I try to print this number, what will be the result? If you can convert this one into binary, it will be 0 into 16 to the power 0 plus 1 into 16 to the power 1. Immediately the answer will be 16, right? You can cross check this one, right? No problem at all. You can happily cross check this one. So now this is for hexadecimal. Now two things are very clear. We can able to represent hexadecimal. We can also able to represent octal. Similarly, to represent binary, the prefix characters are 0b. 0, this is not OB. I repeat, this is 0b. Either small b or capital B, doesn't matter. In both the cases, they are same. The permissible digits are only 0 and 1. Only 0 and 1. In case you are writing anything else, 100% pakka, it will say integer number too large. In this case, in the hexadecimal case also, suppose here I am writing integer a is equal to 0xCDFG. G is not there, right? It will definitely say, what it will say? If I am writing an invalid one, let's see what your compiler says. Let's see what your compiler says. I am going to write you 0x, something like this, GH. Don't you think GH is not a part of hexadecimal number? If I am writing this, immediately my compiler say expected semicolon, could not able to understand G and H. So it says an error. If I remove this, 100% sure I am going to get my compiler will compile fine. Even if you want to put that B, F and all, no problem at all. Everything is fine. And if you want to print, that will be automatically converted into decimal, and finally the result is in front of you. I hope all of you could able to understand this hexadecimal number as well as binary number. Similarly, if I am trying to write 0B 1122, immediately there will be an error called as integer number too large. Integer number too large. Remember this point very carefully. So we can represent all the number system formats using this particular notation. We can represent decimal number without anything as usual, but make sure you are not prefix the number with 0. By mistake, if you are prefix the number by 0, automatically this will be treated as octal number. Make sure. And in octal number, the only permissible digits are from 0 to 7. No other digits are allowed. Similarly, in hexadecimal, that should be represented with 0x. Either it will be small x or it will be capital X. In binary number representation is there from Java 1.7 onwards. Before 1.7, there was no binary representation, right? So it will be 0b or 0b, either small b or capital B, doesn't matter. You can happily represent this one, right? In case you represent anything beyond the permissible digits, it will immediately say, if that will be a valid number, it will say integer number too large. And if you are writing some extra characters in hexadecimal which is not allowed, immediately it will say, can you please put a semicolon? So like that we are getting the error message, right? One point you have to make a note of here. Note it here. By default, integral literals, remember, integral literals by default are treated as integer literals. This is by default, right? That means what I am trying to say, if somebody will ask you, can you please represent a byte literal? You will say the range of byte is up to from -128 to 127. If I am writing a is equal to 12, I can say 12 is a byte literal. No, immediately 12 will be a tier 2. If I am writing only 12, definitely this 12 will call this 12 as integer literal, not a byte literal. Remember, there is no direct point through which I can represent a byte literal or a short literal. But whenever I am writing byte b is equal to 12 in the range, immediately I say this will be automatically treated as byte literal. But originally 12 is not a byte literal, it is basically integer literal. I hope you could able to understand this point. Similarly for short, whenever I am writing short b is equal to this one, absolutely fine, no problem. Only at this point of time we can say this particular literal is a short literal. But remember, this can only be allowed up to the range. If by mistake I am writing in byte b is equal to 128, immediately what it says? It says possibly lossy conversion from int to byte. Now one question I have to ask here, 128, I can understand 128 is a value which is beyond the range of byte, I can understand. But don't you think 128 is a value that can be also accommodated with a short data type? Because short can handle up to 32767, if you can recall. If you can recall, we have clearly discussed about the range. Short data type can handle up to 32767 and 120 is definitely within this range. So why my compiler says possibly lossy conversion from int to byte? Why not sort to byte? Why not sort to byte? The answer to that question is, by default the integral literals are treated as integer literals. So whenever I am writing any value that is beyond the range of byte, now that particular literal is not treated as short literal. It will be immediately treated as integer literal. One thing again I want to repeat, if this is within the range, now here at this point I can call this one as byte literal. If outside of the range, again it will say integer literal. So this particular line has a vital role to play in Java programming language. I hope you could able to understand this point, right? Right. Okay. The next question you can ask me, sir, we could able to understand all the default integral literals are integer literals, and we understand how to represent byte, sort, how to represent octal, binary, hexadecimal and a decimal number. Now, what about long literal? How can I identify long literal? For long literal, we have to do it explicitly. There is no specific way that implicitly your system, your compiler can convert any literal into long literal. Suppose I am writing long a is equal to 30. This is valid, no problem at all. But this 30, you know, this 30 is an integer constant, right? We have already discussed about that point. But I want to make this one a valid long literal explicitly. Explicitly matlab the programmer has to do it. Implicitly means it will be automatically done by your compiler. So here 30 means it is which type of constant? Definitely will say, sir, this is an integer constant. But what I want a long constant itself. So if you want to make this one a long constant, remember to suffix this one with a small l or capital L. Both of them are valid. If you are suffixed any integral literal with L, either small l or capital L, that will be treated as long literal. Make sure you understand that point. Now that means if I'll store like that n is equal to 10L, whether this is valid or invalid? This is valid or invalid? You will say, sir, this is completely invalid, because what we are going to do, you are going to store a long literal into integer, which is not possible because Java is very strongly typed. Very strongly typed. We cannot do? We cannot able to store a higher literal into a lower data type. A higher literal into a lower data type. See, long is requiring 8 bytes. Int is requiring 4 bytes. How can this 8 byte will be accommodated in 4 byte? It is impossible. That's why your compiler will say incompatible type, possibly lossy conversion from long to int. If you want to cross check, we can cross check. Let us write that one. Let us write like 10L. Let's see what is going to happen. Let's see what is going to happen. Immediately it will say incompatible type, possibly lossy conversion from long to int. Clearly we can say this is a long constant. I am trying to store the long constant into integer, which is not possible by the rule, right? That's why Java is called as very strongly typed programming language. Now up to this we are pretty clear which data type or which literal can be represented by which notation. Remember, to represent literal, long literal, we have to suffix the number with capital L or small l, and we are doing this one explicitly. There is no other way to represent a long literal. Clear? Now that all these are about literals associated with whole numbers. All the literals we could able to understand, those are whole numbers. Now let us go to the next one. Let us go to the second one, that is float literal, or we can say floating point literal. We can write here floating point literal. You know, for floating point we have two data types. One is float and one is double. We have already discussed that one regarding every aspect, like how the memory management is like Mantisha and exponent. Everything we have discussed very thoroughly. In case you missed that video, please go back and see that video and come back here, you can understand. Otherwise it will be very difficult for you to understand all these concepts, right? Now we are talking about floating point literals. Just previously, when we were talking about that, we are talking about integral literals. Every integral literal by default treated as integer literals. We have clearly discussed this point. Right? Similarly, all floating point numbers, I am not talking about floating point data type, I am talking about floating point numbers. All floating point numbers or all floating point number literals are treated as double by default. Now, likewise, we are discussing if you are writing 123, if I'll ask you, can you please tell me which kind of literal this one is? You can happily say, sir, this is integer literal, because the default integral literal is integer. Similarly, if I am writing 12.34 and if I'll ask you what is the type of this literal, immediately you have to say this is a double literal, because by default all the floating point literals are treated as double literals. Remember this point. This is very, very vital. That means if I'll try to write float f is equal to 10.23, this will be valid or invalid? This will be valid or invalid? 100% pakka this will be invalid, because if you try to compile this program, type compatibility error will be there. Immediately your compiler will say, hey boss, what you are doing? You are trying to store a double constant into a float data type, which is impossible. So incompatible type, possibly lossy conversion from double to float. I think we have already cross-checked that one in integer. We'll also see that particular part in after few times. We'll also see what is cross-check what is happening here. Now you can ask me, sir, how can I able to store a float value then? For that you have to do it explicitly. You have to add either a small f or a capital F in the number. So that will be treated as a floating point constant, right? So to represent any floating point constant or constant of float literal, you have to suffix a value or a character, either small f or capital F. Both are same, no problem at all. Remember, you have to do it explicitly. Means the programmer has to do it. This is not automatic. If by mistake I am writing this particular one without f, 100% pakka compiler error will be there. 100% pakka compiler error will be definitely there, right? That is the first point. Similarly, if I am trying to store double d is equal to 12.34, absolutely fine, because we know 12.35 by default is a double constant and we can happily store that double constant into d, no problem, that's fine. But still Java gives you one more option. If you want to represent this one as explicitly double constant, by default this is double constant, no problem at all, that's absolutely fine. In fact, if you want to avoid the confusion, if you want to represent that one using a double constant, remember you can also suffix this number with either capital D or small d, no problem at all. You can also do that. You can happily do that, no problem at all. So two things are clear. If I want to represent a float constant, I have to suffix this particular number with f or small f or capital F. And if I want to make a double constant to be very precisely double constant, I have to write explicitly d. Even if I don't write d, it will be by default treated as a double literal, right? That's for sure. Now let us look at some other points, because previously while talking about integral part, we have clearly discussed in integral literal I can happily represent all the number system that is represented using different number system like binary, octal, hexadecimal and decimal itself. Now in floating point literal, remember this is very, very, very vital. In floating point literal, what we can represent only decimal numbers. Only decimal numbers. Keep this in mind. Octal number, hexadecimal number or binary number, cannot be represented using a floating point number. Case number 1, right? By mistake, if you are doing that, you know what you are going to get. You know what you are going to get. Let us cross check. Float A is equal to, we are cross checking everything else. A is equal to 34.45. Immediately there will be a compile error saying incompatible type, possibly lossy conversion from double to float. We are just discussed about this point. This is a double constant and I cannot store the double constant in the float variable, right? Several times we are discussing this point. I think up to this you have cleared. If I am writing F, no problem at all. My compiler will say, boss, absolutely fine. I don't have any problem, right? Similarly, by mistake, if I am writing, suppose I am writing 010.12. Now, this will be not treated as an octal. This will be a normal decimal constant. That means in the output, what I'll going to get, I'm going to get 10.12 only. Let's see. This is not a octal number. Remember, in floating point, I cannot able to represent the octal number. Possibly lossy conversion from, sorry, why the error is there? Because I am trying to store a double constant into float variable. So what I need to write is F. By mistake I have not written that one. So now the code compiles fine. If I start the program, see what is the output, 10.12, right? So now this is not an octal. If it could be an octal, it should be converted into 8 point something, right? So now you cannot able to represent octal value using a float number, right? Not only octal, by mistake if you are using a hexadecimal, now you will get an error message. Malformed floating point literal. What you cannot do, you cannot represent a hexadecimal number using a floating point variable. Make sure you understand this point. Similarly, if in case of binary, the same result will be there. So the conclusion is only decimal numbers can be represented. Octal, hexadecimal and binary, these numbers are invalid in floating point number. You make sure you understand, you could able to understand this point, right? Now, the twist is, suppose I am writing float A is equal to 10F. 10F. This is valid. Not only 10F, I am writing 10. Now, question is, this is valid or invalid? Because what I am trying to do, if I'll ask you what 10 is, you will say, sir, 10 is an integer literal. Can I store integer literal in a float variable? The answer is yes. The answer is yes. Remember this particular diagram. If I'll write the data type to lower to higher, byte is the lowest one. After byte there is short, after short there is int, after int there is float, after float there is double. Double is the highest data type and lowest order is byte, and character we can redirect to here. Now remember the point. If I am writing float A is equal to 10, 10 is which kind of literal? Integer literal. Float, this is a float value. I'm written the spelling of float wrong, I hope. Yeah, I'm pretty bad at spelling, so please ignore the spelling mistakes. Now, thing is, if I'm writing int here, this is integer constant and this is a float variable, right? If I'm trying to store integer constant into float variable, now can you please check which one is higher and which one is lower? Float is higher data type and integer is lower. See, integer here, float is here. So this is in order of increasing order, right? Increasing order of data type. Now, conclusion is, we can happily store a lower data type literal into a higher data type variable. That means a higher data type variable, float A, can contain int value, no problem at all. If I print this one, the value will be 10.0. I hope you could able to understand this point, right? Float A is equal to 10. This is absolutely valid because I am storing a lower data type constant into higher data type variable. This is valid. If I try to print this value, the value will be 10.0. This is absolutely fine, right? That means I am automatically conversion is done. We'll discuss about implicit type conversion in some other classes. That will again take 30 to 40 minutes. So we are not discussing right now. Just for you For understanding sake, I'm telling that. Now, if this is true, now the next question is, can I represent, if I represent a is equal to 0, 1, 0. Now, what will be my output if I try to print a? What will be my output? Remember, look at this one very carefully and remember we have a very good point to make here. In the first case, if I am writing 10 only, this is an integer constant, no doubt at all. So 10.0 will be there. If I am writing again 0, 1, 0, I have not put in a decimal point here. Immediately you will say, sir, this is an octal constant. And what is the decimal value of this octal constant? That is 8. So now the float value can contain 8.0. But by mistake, if I am writing 0, 1, 0.00, now the output will be 10 only. Can you notice the difference? If I am writing 0, 1, 0, now integer literal can be converted into float, no problem at all. If I am writing 0, 1, 0.00, now this is only treated as a float constant, no octal constant, nothing else. So that is the point you need to understand, right? Even if we say floating point value variable literals cannot contain octal, means if I am writing 010.00, this is a floating point literal because point is there. But if I am writing 010, this is integer literal. This is the difference. If I am storing 010 here, octal value will be stored. If I am storing 01.00, only 010 will be stored. Make sure you understand this point, right? Similarly, if I am trying to store, remember this point, if I am trying to store, can you please guide me? If I am trying to store 0x01, this is valid or invalid? Again, this is valid. But by mistake, if I am writing this is invalid. 100% pakka, this is invalid. Even if you add a F here, doesn't matter. It is invalid because floating point numbers cannot represent, floating point literals cannot represent any other number system other than decimal, right? So, but if I am writing 0112F, this is valid because this is now hexadecimal literal because I have not used any decimal point here. If I am use a decimal point by mistake, then that's an error. Make sure you understand this particular point. So that means we can make a conclusion here. If you want to write, note it down, you can note it down. Integer literals, I'm not writing this one, I'm detecting this one. Please do write this particular line. Integer literals can be assigned into floating point decimal, either in the form of octal or in the form of binary or in the form of hexadecimal. I repeat, integer literal can be assigned into floating point decimal variable either in the form of octal or binary or hexadecimal or decimal, doesn't matter. But that is only integer literals. But the vice versa is not possible. Even if I am trying to store a float constant into integer, this is again not possible because what I am trying to do here, I am trying to store a higher data type, literal data type into lower data type. Higher literal cannot be stored in the lower data type. This is invalid. Remember that point. Only a lower literal can be stored in a higher data type. That is valid. Remember, make sure you understand this point. All of you, make sure you understand this point, right? Now, this is all about the literals of integer and floating point value. Few more points are there. We'll discuss that one and we'll conclude the floating point literal here. In the next video, we might look into character, string and boolean type, right? So let us complete this floating type again. Now, floating point numbers can also represented in scientific format here. What are they? Suppose I want to represent a floating point number in exponent format. Suppose I am writing double here. Double 1.3 e to the power 3. I can happily represent this one. If I am writing this kind of notation, this is again a valid literal. Valid floating point literal. Since I have not included anything here, this will be directly treated as a double literal, right? What exactly this value is? This value is 1.3 into 10 to the power 3, right? and if I try to print the value of this one, immediately I'll convert this one into decimal and the final value will be there. So what will be the final value? 1.3 into 1000, right? So accordingly I'll get my answer, right? So let us see what will be my answer here. My answer will be definitely, I hope, 1300 here. Let us cross check. If I want to represent a floating point literal in scientific format, I can also do that. That is the conclusion. Let's see whether the thing we are saying is valid or invalid. It could be like this: 1.3 e to the power 3 f. Why I am writing f? Because I am using a floating point variable. So that's why I am using f. Otherwise, if you are taking a double, no problem at all. See, the answer is 1300.0. And why it is so? Because it is again converted into 1.3 into 10 to the power 3. But it is 1.3, sorry, that is 1300. Since it is a floating point value, a 0 will be added there. So this is how we can also able to represent the number in a floating point literal. That means if at some point of time somebody will say float a is equal to like this is valid or invalid, you can say this is valid. That means we can also able to represent floating point literals in scientific format, right? Next point. From Java 1.7 onwards, to represent numeric variables for more readability. Suppose I have to represent a bigger number. Don't you think remembering this number or pronouncing this number is very, very difficult? And if for our convenient purpose, if you follow some application software, we are using a comma separators, which will be very easy for us to understand what exactly the number is. Similarly, to make it more readable, Java introduced an underscore to represent numeric literals. You can put the underscore anywhere you want as a separator, no problem at all. This is also a valid in integer constant. This is also valid in float. This is also valid in long, and everywhere it is valid. So if I am writing integer a is equal to 12 underscore 12, actually whenever I am writing this, it will enhance the readability of my code. But for the compiler, it is 12 only. It is not 12 underscore 12. It is again 1212, right? This is only for users convenient, and this can also be used to represent any numeric literal. So to represent numeric literal, one more point is there. What we can do, we can add underscores also, no problem at all. We can happily use this one. But while using underscore, you have to make sure you also know the rules where it cannot be used. Where it can be used, it can be used only between digits. Remember this point, only between digits. Where it cannot be used, remember this point, it cannot be used as first or last symbol. Remember this point. Before starting the number, if I am using, this is invalid. After starting the number, at the last I am using, this is invalid. These two are invalid. Number 2. If I am using 1.123 point, then underscore, then F, this is also invalid. Underscore capital F, this is invalid. L. So suffix like L, F, L and F, if you want to represent the number, or D also. If you want to represent underscore, make sure underscore should not be immediately followed by F, L or T. Make sure. So all these three cases, it is invalid. Make sure you understand this point. And the third one, after immediate decimal, suppose I am writing 1, 2, 3, then underscore, then 3, 4. Now this is also invalid. Only valid is you should use it within only between digits. In between 1, 2 and 3, I can happily use, no problem at all. But in between decimal and number, I cannot use. I can use here, no problem. But what I cannot do, I cannot use as the beginning I cannot use at the end, I cannot use just before some suffix characters like L, F and D. Make sure you understand all the rules. So these are all possible ways how I could able to represent different kinds of literals in Java. We are only discussed about integer and float literals, and we have seen the different aspects how I can able to store integer constants as well as float constants. Now here with what I am doing, what I'll do, I'll give you some notations after this. After once you complete this video, please make sure you have answered this question to yourself. After answering, go and check this one in your compiler to check your knowledge what you have acquired from this particular video. I am writing something, you need to check whether this is valid or invalid notation. I am writing float f is equal to 0x1234.123 f. You need to check this is valid or invalid. Float f is equal to 0 into BED. You need what I said, you need to check whether all these are valid or invalid. Make sure you understand this point. Float f is equal to 0 into 0B001, this one. I'm writing integer a is equal to 1, 2, 3. I'm writing integer a is equal to 123.45. Float a is equal to 45.456. Double a is equal to 10. Now you need to check which among these is a valid declaration, which is invalid declaration. You need to only concentrate on the literals, and you have to apply all the knowledge we have acquired in this session to solve this one, right? So please solve this one by yourself and cross check whether the answer that you are giving without compilation are correct or you need some more. If you do not able to answer 50% of the question, I honestly request all of you, please go back and see this video once again so that you can able to understand the entire concept, right? So thank you all for joining. In the next video, we'll complete character and Boolean literals, right? Thank you all. Thank you so much for joining.